Hello, I'm Rashmi Bhandary and I've got Kseniia with me. Hello Kseniia.
Thank you. Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, so Kseniia is an education consultant for the past 15 years in international education, and today she will be talking with us about the opportunities in Germany for engineers, specifically because the audiences are mostly engineers. So Kseniia, tell me, why should any engineering graduate or anyone choose Germany for higher studies?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. We just met the students. It was an amazing audience. And now I'm really happy to share some details about opportunities for engineers in Germany. Now, I think it's obvious that German industry is quite famous, especially for students with engineering background. And education provided by Germany is very, very well recognized all over the world.
Yes.
If somebody in the engineering or technical background has a German degree, then he probably will not ever stay out of job because it's a top quality education, well recognized.
All right.
Now, the advantage for international students is that German education is state funded, which means there will be no tuition fee in most public universities in Germany.
Okay, so that means no fees at all, so it's absolutely free.
Yes, that's correct. And of course, whereas it's free for students, taxpayers of course pay for the education.
Yes.
So in the end, Germany becomes very interested in having these graduates staying with us and working at our industries. It doesn't really mean that they have to give back because Germany invested in them, not at all, but it makes sense for them to apply the knowledge which they got in German universities in practice in the industry in German companies.
Okay, and I think most of the students would also aspire to stay back in Germany because having spent time and learning over there.
Exactly,
yes.
And for this reason, Germany actually allows a stayback of at least 18 months after graduation.
All right.
Which means as soon as the students successfully complete a degree program, it can be undergraduate or graduate program, they automatically get a stayback for 18 months.
All right.
This is the time where they can actually work already full-time in pretty much whatever capacity they can. And if they have a job related to the field, by the time this 18 months end, they can just convert it into working permit and stay and work in Germany to their liking.
Okay.
They need to work for about 3 years full-time in order to be eligible for a PR in Germany. That's
All
how
right.
structured it all is.
All right, so it's easy for them to actually get a permanent residency.
Yes, you pretty much just need to be working full-time at the same company, or even changing the company is not a problem. As soon as you stay within your field of studies.
Okay, so it sounds so nice. So what is the catch?
Yeah, the catch. Well, it sounds like a catch, but in fact we treat it as an opportunity, and that's learning the language. So in order to avail the best opportunities and best degree programs in Germany in technical field, you need to learn the German language, which sounds like a challenge, but as we know, German is spoken in the 5 richest countries in Europe, and it's a language of science. You know, a lot of inventions were made by Germany, by German scientists. So it becomes a really an advantage for the students. And we also support them in learning the language. We have different options for them. They can learn online, they can learn with the German faculty, they can learn here in India, so they can spend some time still in the home country preparing themselves for the education. And in the end, it becomes only about 6 to 9 months of their time where they actually can reach the proficiency needed to get admission, to sit for the lectures, to write their homework in German language. Whereas if they only do this in India, it takes quite a lot of time.
All right. So they do the preliminary language course in India, which is advisable, and then they go there for that.
Correct.
Yeah. So for the preliminary course, it takes around 6 months.
For the preliminary course in India, it takes about 3 to 4 months.
3 to 4 months.
And then in Germany, it takes about 5 to 6 months to complete the course and get the certificate and so on.
All right. So how much would a student be actually spending to learn the German language?
So the investment, of course, will depend on several factors, as in where they learn the language, where they learn here with the local faculty, how much time they spend on this and so on. If you talk purely about our program, then the total cost is about 9 to 10,000 euros for the whole program, which is about 1 year program, including everything, all the language courses, all the language levels, exams, trainings, and the placements. And we of course have the merit-based scholarships for the most talented students. They can save a lot of money.
All right.
If we look at it, it maybe look like an investment, but India is one of the very few countries in the world where students can actually get the student loan, and we support also with this process. And a lot of students do this. They become self-financed sort of. They don't need to take a lot of money from the parents or sell property and so on. Also because the living expenses in Germany are relatively moderate. It's also about 10,500 euros per year, whereas students are also allowed to work part-time
Part-time.
during their degree programs, and they can really earn at least 50% of their living, sometimes even more if they're a little bit more determined. Or maybe
All right. So, would you know how much would it be in terms of rupees? For example, for a year of living expense in Germany,
it's about 7 lakh.
around 7 lakh, and half of which they could actually end up
Yeah,
earning
themselves.
doing a part-time job.
Yeah, exactly.
So any student who's aspiring to go does not have to spend the whole amount. Education is free. Your living expense, half of it can be taken care by yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're working.
Right.
And how tough is the curriculum? I mean, is it difficult for Indian students when they go there to catch up, or do you think
That's a very good question. I think that the education system in Germany is a little bit different from the Indian system in a way that students in Germany can make up their own schedule. Right, so when they come to college, when they come to university, they're not really given the schedule to follow, but based on their interest, based on their specialization and time preferences, they can make their own schedule. So they can end up studying in the evenings and sleeping in the mornings, or studying in the mornings and working in the evenings, or just having 3 days of full-time classes, sort of. Good thing is that Indian students are normally very well prepared already, especially when we talk about the technical background, so they don't really face challenges. And the language is something they can also easily catch up on, because they already normally speak averagely more languages than any other international student who comes to Germany.
Yeah.
So it becomes very...
I think an average Indian speaks at least some 3 to 4 languages.
Exactly.
And German is Sanskrit based.
Exactly. So it becomes very easy for them to catch up. And the community of Indian students and generally people with Indian origins in Germany is quite large, I would say, in comparison to some other nationalities. So they can always find support with us at school, with friends around, with if they feel homesick, they can always feel comfortable with other students around as well.
All right. And is there anything that they have to keep in mind while choosing universities? I mean, which are the best universities, or is it like everyone is the same, or how is it?
Great. This is a nice question, because in Germany we don't really have our internal ranking, because most public universities offer the same quality top education. What we recommend students to take a look at is specifically the program and what the opportunities the universities offer. For example, technical universities will be a little bit more research oriented, or University of Applied Sciences will be even more practice oriented. Technical universities like Technical University of Munich or Berlin, these are the popular schools, will be bigger in size. They have bigger classes, bigger classrooms, bigger number of students. However, we also recommend highly to look at the smaller schools, because the smaller the class is, the more attention can the student, individual student, get from the professor.
Right.
And many of the smaller universities actually work very close with the industries, so it becomes very easy for students to get placement also. And most of the students land in the job either before they graduate or within 3 months of graduation. This is how many engineers we need in Germany to sustain our industry. So at the moment, Germany tries to solve this problem of less population by inviting international students and professionals, and most of our students end up very happy and very successful. Some of them, of course, graduated and maybe settled down having families.
That's wonderful to hear. And another thing is, what is the average package that an engineer could aspire to get after engineering?
It of course depends on the region, because German is quite diverse. We have 16 regions, and we have also like different cultures and traditions. But in terms of the salary, it depends on the location a lot and on the industry as well. I would say that the starting basic salary normally for master graduate in engineering field is about 3,000 to 3,500 euros per month.
Okay.
Which is about...
Which I think they will do the conversion.
Yeah, fine.
So, yes.
The engineers, they can do that.
They will do that. And finally, I just want to understand that, there's a little bit of an apprehension as to, whether they will fit into the culture, and would there be any discrimination or anything. So anything like that for an Indian student, how safe is it?
Germany as a country is very safe, and we actually also encourage very much girls to also look at this opportunity, and the parents, please know that. In terms of discrimination, no, of course it's totally illegal to have any kind of discrimination based on nationality or race or whatsoever, but Indian students are known to be very lovely and very friendly, and so the Germans who are actually interested in getting to know other cultures, I think they all get along very well. And within our program, for example, we have a lot of students who stay in the host families, and they stay friends and stay in touch for many, many years after the completion of the program, and the students feel very comfortable, and the German environment, I think it's very welcoming and friendly,
All
also
right.
for international students.
Yeah, and one very important point I think which I missed asking is that they don't have to write any examination, right, to get into the university.
Yes, that's a good point. That's
Yes.
right. I actually think it becomes a little bit easier for Indian students to get into a German university than to a master program in an Indian college. They don't need to have any special exam. IELTS, GMA, JEE, GATE is not
Nothing.
recommended.
No.
It's not necessary. It's
Yes.
not demanded. Not required. It's only the German language and the language certificate that they will need to have. And of course, their degree certificate from India. That's all.
And they need to have 70% marks.
Yeah,
A minimum
70%.
70% marks.
They have-
They're eligible to go with
Yeah.
the German language.
They're totally eligible to go. German language is a requirement, and off they go for their dream or their bright future in Germany.
Okay, thank you, Kseniia, very much. And I
Thank
hope
you.
this was helpful. So bye for now, from both of us for now.